Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, March 4th, 2024. I'm Giovanni Betancourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets. Well, another week in the green, and it will be the S&P 500's best run since 1964. It racked up another week of gains on Friday. That makes 16 positive weeks out of the last 18 for the first time since 1971. Now, I'm a 1972 model, so that will make it about 52 years. It's hard to see what's going to derail the juggernaut. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell testifies to Congress this week, but the central bank's thinking is pretty well known. No interest rate cuts for now, maybe some later in the year. Stock traders have shrugged as pricing for the first reduction gets pushed further back. They seem to be fixated on the latest developments with artificial intelligence. Now, there's a jobs report coming on Friday. Regardless of what it says, it will be the case that the labor market is fairly tight, even as inflation is weakening. In short, news this week will have to be a huge shock to change the trajectory of the stock's steady climb. At the same time, nothing lasts forever. In investing, as with comedy, timing is everything. If it's true that stocks will move in anticipation of the economic cycle, it's worth wondering what part of the cycle we're in. The peak is usually described as a point when the economy starts to overheat. Then, usually in a whirlwind of faster inflation, higher interest rates, and a slowdown in consumer spending, it will start to contract. It's hard enough to know when a cycle is turning at the best of times, but all of our signals are scrambled now. Inflation is slowing. Unemployment has been historically low for 2 years. The Fed has already jacked up interest rates, and yet consumers keep spending. So it isn't at all clear that the peak is high, but it might be. At some point, investors will have to make judgment about when to pull back to avoid getting burned. Now, on the oil market, Saudi Arabia will extend its crude production cut of 1 million barrels a day. Russia will trim its production and export by 471,000, and Iraq, UAE, will prolong voluntarily production cuts. This makes you wonder and ask, will this make oil move higher, or will it trade in the 80-70 range? Let's see what will happen this week. So let's take a look at our markets. Here we have the Nasdaq. So in technical analysis, it is said that we can see, or we can project or speculate how the week will turn out to be, and depending on how the week closed on Friday, how Friday closed actually. So Friday we see that it closed on the green to the upside. So we can, let's see if that momentum will overflow into this week. So far we are being flattish right now. It did kind of fluctuate to the upside a bit, but let's see if that will be the case of making 18,500, which is where I'm gonna place my resistance. And the RSI is getting closer and closer to being overbought. So I am favoring longs, buying the Nasdaq. Then we have the S&P 500 making those 17 high sessions. So will we have our 18th out of 19th? So let's see if that would be the case. Also, it closed on the green on Friday. Obviously, the RSI is getting closer to be in the overbought area. So, but I'm still favoring longs, buying the S&P. The Dow, however, is a bit different of a story. It is trending lower. It did open with a gap up. It has been closed. Is looking to let's see if it'll come closer to the moving average, or will it start retreating or pulling back to the upside now. It is, the RSI is far away from being overbought. So let's see what will happen with the Dow. Then we have crude oil. So crude oil, we see that on Friday, it finally broke that ceiling of around 79, that psychological resistance level, which we can turn that to be our support if you want it to be. I'm gonna leave mine at 77.5. The moving average is pointing towards 78.50 right now. It did open with a gap up. It has been closed. So let's see if the momentum it will continue to push it to the upside towards the $81 marker for today. Buying crude oil. Nat Gas opened with a gap up. It hasn't been closed. Let's see if it'll come down towards the $2 and continue higher. Gold, what a parabolic movement on Friday for gold. 2100. The RSI is right there at the border of being overbought. So let's see if we find more buyers and take this puppy to 2100. Silver also trending higher. Okay, let's see if it'll come back and meet that high of 23.5. Buying it. Copper also looking steady, nice to the upside. Let's see if 386 will be the target today. Bitcoin, wow, Bitcoin just making this move, just higher highs and higher lows, one after the other. So we are definitely in an uptrend. 68,000 is the target. The currencies, euro always looking to stay north of 108. Let's see if it'll push towards the 109 today. The pound also looking to reach 127, and the dollar index, it did open with a small gap down. It has been closed. Let's see if it will continue with a movement to the downside towards the 103 marker. And if that happens, we'll see a nice movement up on metals and currencies specifically. Well, that's it for me today. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.